interview actually took the time to ask the question January 2029, that's the inauguration, of course. Could you be president then? And, he didn't want to spoil it. He wants to keep the idea out there. And I think most MAGA people, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this on either side. Most MAGA people, I think, agree that another 4 years is without question needed to make sure that we're very much into the Make America Great Again agenda is firmed up. There's been major swamp draining that's going on at every level. It even looks like we have the CIA under some control with some things that have been going on in this second term. But most importantly, the deportations have to be completed, right? We've got, and I'll tell you, full disclosure, I'm happy with President Trump in 2028, 2032, 2036, 2040. As long as he wants to run and be president, I am fine with that. You look at these Oval Office events as an example. There was one 2 days ago, the one with all the senators there, and he was signing the bill to keep the government open, and Lindsey Graham was talking about ICE. I mean, look how hard they're fighting to abolish ICE and restrict Border Patrol to just the border. Of course, the Democrats believe illegals should be able to pour into this country anywhere they want, but the Border Patrol and ICE should only be allowed at the border and should not be allowed deeper into the country. How does that even make sense? They're Americans and, of course, federal law enforcement officers. We really need that next 4 years to finish what President Trump has started in this second term and firm it up. Because if God forbid, these Democrats get back into power, we're done. I mean, this is the NBC reporter asking the president the big question. Mm-hmm. Yeah, isn't that true? I mean, can you think of another time in your lifetime, and where people are here that are different ages, can you think of a time in your life where the country was not was in equally as good of a position as it is with President Trump? I can't think of one. Here's another clip, same interview from NBC. Wow. When have you ever heard President Trump say that to a reporter, huh? Wow, that's how good the interview was. Okay, now we'll be on the radio in a few minutes. We're still in the pre-show here. I'm just checking the time. Okay, we will be live in 3 minutes, okay? So if you'd like to call in, please do. The number's toll free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. There's a lot of other stories that I'm going to cover today, although this is my lead story. There's a lot of other things that we're going to get into on the program. Here's another clip. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I mean, think about it. Biden brought in nearly 12,000 murderers into the country. Nearly 12,000 murderers. I mean, who does that? And President Trump is in the wrong because he wants those murderers out. These anti-ICE idiots that are stalking ICE agents in Minneapolis and other places, they want these murderers to stay here. I mean, who wants murderers to stay here? We're 1 minute away till the radio show starting, and then I got to open the show, of course, when the radio show starts. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll free, no matter where you're listening, and it's pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are. If you're on hold, stand by. I got a lot to cover today, and I am going to get into the Savannah Guthrie mother kidnapping story a little bit and a few other things politically that have been going on. All right, here we are. We're just less than 20 seconds away. Welcome, everyone. MAGAT, Make America Great Again Today. Yes, Make America Great Again today. No doubt. I agree with that. Stand by. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. It is Thursday. Can you believe already? Wow. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Celebrating 49 years on the radio. Welcome, one and all. We already have callers on hold. Stand by. I'm going to cover a lot of things today. President Trump did an incredible interview with NBC News, which I'm going to play some of. I'm going to start with a clip, and then later on in the show, I'll play some other clips and we'll talk about them. I want to get in a little bit of the Savannah Guthrie mother kidnapping story, and there's a few other things, too, that we're going to cover on the program. But Trump was asked by NBC News whether he's going to run for president in 2028. And let me play you the clip. This is NBC News Oval Office interview. It would. Yeah. Okay, so a couple things about this, okay? Those of you who are MAGA people, like myself, would you like Trump to have a third term in 2028? Would you like him to run in 2028? I would. Would you vote for him? I would. Absolutely. No. I mean, I vote for him in 28, 32, 36, 40. 44, 48, 52. As long as he wants to run, I'm voting for him. That's me. I mean, we've got these federal judges up there that are practically in hospice care, making rulings that affect the entire country, and they've never been elected. We've got these members of Congress that, half the Senate are wearing adult diapers. And the House isn't much better in many instances. So, yeah, absolutely, I would vote for Trump forever if he wanted to run. But this is a serious question because President Trump is resetting the entire planet, not just our country. He's making the earth great again, not just America. And the things he's doing are so big, they have to be completed. The deportations not only have to continue, they have to be completed. Joe Biden brought in 12,000 murderers, 12,000. And you know what murderers do? They reoffend over and over again until they're forever stopped and imprisoned. And they'll even kill people in jail. I mean, these are major things that he's doing. These financial investments into the country. that are in process. These have to be completed. And only President Trump can get all these things done. If we were to get a weak Republican or a Democrat in office, I mean, think about the devastating impact on this country. They'd bulldoze the wall. They would eliminate ICE. They are talking about restricting Border Patrol agents. They're only allowed on the border. That's what they want. They only want the Border Patrol agents at the border. They're not allowed to leave the border. Now, of course, illegals that are rapists and murderers and human traffickers, they can wander wherever they want in the United States, but the Democrats believe Border Patrol should only be allowed at the border. They're not allowed in the United States. Isn't that crazy? But illegals are. The tariffs, forget about it. They'll reverse all that. It would be a major economic collapse. Right now, if you look, rents are dropping because of the deportations. The illegals are, every time there's a deportation, well, there's a vacancy. Now renting. Rents have been so high because the illegals have been taking up rental properties. Yesterday, I was talking, the FBI crime stats are out. Crime in the United States is at a 125-year low. Think about that. A 125-year low in crime. Who would have thought anything like that was even possible? The murder rate's the lowest that it's been since statistics have been taken, but that goes back 125 years too, since 1900. All these things are done because of the Trump policies that have just begun. And the Democrats are fighting hard so they can undo this. We need the next 4 years on top of the 3 that we have left in this term, so that not only can these things be done and completed, but they become the way it is moving forward in the country. It'll take another 4 years to get these things made permanent. So, yeah, this is, I'm not gaslighting you. I'm serious as a heart attack. This Trump 2028 hat that I'm wearing right now, that I wear most days, I've got one of the largest MAGA collections probably of anybody that doesn't own a store selling hats. But I wear the Trump 2028 hat most of the time. I got this Trump 2028 hat from the official Donald Trump store. The gift shop in the White House sells the Trump 2028 hats. So this isn't something new today. This is something that Trump has discussed. This is something that the Never-Trumpers, the Democrats, have been panicked about. And it's something that I clearly, obviously, support. And I think most MAGA people do. So, those of you that are MAGA, I'd like to hear it. Give me a call. Tell me your thoughts on this. Would you vote for President Trump in 2028? I know I would. Now, you don't have to be MAGA to call. Those of you on the other side, you're certainly welcome to call. We do have a lot to cover today, though. Okay, I am going to get into the Savannah Guthrie mother kidnapping story. These local cops are just a bunch of Keystone clowns, Keystone cops and clowns. And there's some big political stories that we're going to discuss, too, on top of this. Plus, the president's interview on NBC News was very, very good. I'm going to go through some other cuts and clips of that as the show goes on, and we'll discuss. It was a pretty good interview. I don't know anything about this Tom Lamas, or whatever his name is, that interviewed him. But the interview was, so far as the mainstream media go, it was a pretty fair interview. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to take calls after the first break. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. The second annual MyPillow mega sale is going on. There are huge, huge savings site-wide on the most popular MyPillow products. The pillows, the towels, the sheets, the mattress toppers, the mattress. That 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper is life-changing. I've slept on mine for years. We even have one on our guest bed. It is life-changing. Life-changing. If you have a lumpy, bumpy, lopsided mattress, you think you need a new mattress, get that 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. Huge savings on that as well. But it's also, with our promo code, our promo code Kane at checkout, it's free shipping on all orders, no matter how large, no matter how small. Free shipping on every single order, whether it's a set of sheets and a towel set, or the mattress topper, anything in between. Free shipping on every order with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com. You can also order by phone toll free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. We'll be right back. Oh boy, I gotta have a drink here. My losing my voice, guys. It's dust. I was doing something before the show, and I inhaled some dust. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll go to the phones after the break. Yeah, it would. Yeah, how can you argue with that, right? I mean, that doesn't mean that J.D. Vance wouldn't do a good job, but no one's going to do what Trump does. Here's another clip from the interview. Well, yeah, exactly. Isn't it nice to hear somebody in charge say that? Because the Renee Good they present them as if they were some angels, and angels don't bring guns and start fights with cops. That's right. Yeah, pretty amazing. Pretty good interview. Okay, we're about 30 seconds away. I'll go to the phones when we get back. The number to call in is pinned in the live chat. Less than 30 seconds. Oh, boy, oh boy. Stand by. 15 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Our lines are filling up here early on. The number 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. This is Richie.
Hey,
How are
Richie.
you doing this morning,
All
Brian?
right.
I've had a lot of time to think about this President Trump with this running for in 2028. Mm-hmm. Well, for another term. The term, first of all, the ones that are opposed to it are the ones that had Franklin Roosevelt as their god,
mm-hmm.
and he died in office. That's when it was changed.
In his fourth term.
Who is right? Who does this affect more than anybody? When you hear President Trump, they're saying it's against the Constitution. We don't want him running again. Who is we?
Yeah.
In other words, I believe it's not any I don't believe in term limits for a president of the United States. I believe it's up to the people.
Exactly.
The
God
people,
forbid. That's
in
what the
other words,
Democrats hate more than anything, are the people making decisions.
That's right. It's up to the American people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's at the ballot box. I don't think there should be a term limit for Obama or Carter or Bush, any of them.
Sure.
And if it would have been up to them, because let me tell you something, Jimmy Carter would never have won. George Bush lost trying, and you can go on
And by the way, they're welcome to
bring
Obama and Clinton out of retirement and run as a team against him for all I care. Bring George W. Bush out too.
It's up to the American people. I don't know what they're so afraid of, these politicians.
They're afraid of the American people. That's what they're afraid of, the Democrats.
Exactly right. That's what I was gonna say. I bet you nobody ever thought about it like this.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear about this as against the Constitution. It's against the Constitution. It's against the people.
That's right.
It's not against the president. If he was doing a terrible job, they wouldn't be worried about it. They're worried because they know that he probably would win again.
The very reason, this NBC News interview, the reason they asked is because they think it's real. They're very nervous about this because they know there's popular support for a Trump third term.
Well, to me, like I said, I don't believe in term limits. I'll tell you another thing that bothers me, and President Trump. First of all, as a young kid growing up, I got to bring this up. In New York City, there were American flags on Flag Day everywhere. Everyone was patriotic. You know what the biggest push was? We were against communism. We were against the Soviet Union. It was right after World War II. The whole country was united, and we were all Americans within. There was a small group of communists, and you remember what was it, McCarthy? The
Joe
senator.
McCarthy, yes.
You read history. Yeah, Joe McCarthy. He said we were being infiltrated. The country today, we have a rot in this country.
Yeah.
And you know what the rot is? The Democratic Party is a rot. They keep on calling us a cult. They say we're deplorables. We are so pro-American as Americans.
Most people agree today that Joe McCarthy was right. I mean, look, there's a story in the news today of these grade school teachers teaching children how to protest against the government, right? They're doing like fake ICE protests, like mock ICE protests in classrooms.
Yeah, the communists. That's why I say that. To me, President Trump should have that green light. Anybody should have that green light. Why handcuff the public?
I mean, you look at some of these senators and House members and federal judges. They're like in hospice care, on life support, and they're still in office. Give me a break.
Yeah, but you see, that's in other words, some of these states like Minnesota, they'll put the same senator in there or the same congressman like New York City, the same people in because that's local. But on a national scale, that's 50 states. The president of the United States should be an open ballot with no term limit.
Exactly.
Because the term limit is not against the president. I repeat it, it's against the people.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of it already. And I believe this too. President Trump is a very smart man. President Trump never conceded the last election. Everyone's afraid to bring that up. Well, if it comes out, and it comes out...
Well, I don't want to get sidetracked into that because then the whole show goes in another direction. But I'll let you run. I want to keep the show on track. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. Oh, you just missed it as I hit the hang-up button. You got to be ready, guys. You got to be ready. The rest of you want to hold standby. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. I want to kind of keep the discussion focused a little bit here. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, bro? My name is Martin, calling from Iowa.
Martin in Iowa. What's on your mind?
All right, bro. So I want to know why you still support Trump. Because I voted for him twice. I voted for him in this last election.
Yeah, and then what happened?
And I was a hardcore... Yeah. No, I want to know... No, you're trying to put words in my mouth. I'm asking you.
I'm not going to put anything in your mouth. I mean... what has he done that would make you?
Up the Epstein files.
I'm not here to do exclusive one-on-one interviews with some bro out of Iowa. You said you voted for Trump twice. Why'd you vote for him?
Well, the main reason is because he said he was anti-war, and that's obviously not.
Well, he's ended how many wars? He's ended a half a dozen wars.
Okay, let me explain my point before you interrupt me. What happened to the Ukraine war? That was one of his biggest campaign promises. He turned around and lied. He turned around and said,
He didn't lie.
Oh, Joe
How
Biden
can
was
he
just...
get the? How can
Let
he?
me, hey,
No,
hey,
excuse
hey, bro.
me.
I'm letting you talk.
What
Why
is it? What
why
is
can't
this,
you let me
bro?
talk,
We're
bro?
not at some gay bar. What do you keep calling me bro for? What's that
I
all
mean,
about?
if I was a gay bar, I'd say something else, man. I'm trying to have a conversation with you, and you're just
You know what
cutting me
I would
off.
say at a gay bar? Nothing, because I wouldn't be there. Oh my goodness. You know, all these fake MAGAs, right? All these fake MAGA people. You're probably wondering how did I know he was gay? I have a very good ear. Oh, here we go. Yes. All right. Hold on. Let me answer all these incoming lines. You're
You
on
gonna
the.
let me talk this time?
No.
Or you
Nope.
just gonna...
I'm not. Since you asked, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Ben from Pompano. How
Hey,
you doing?
Ben. What's up?
Hey. So, this is my thoughts about Trump running for a third term. It's impossible to take the Democrats seriously when they clutch their pearls about Trump doing anything that they deem unconstitutional, because people seem to forget that, you know, they have been in power for the last 4 years, and they were willing to pack the Supreme Court, add D.C. and Puerto Rico as additional states, 51st and 52nd state, which would give them automatic senators and representatives. They count illegals on the census, so it boosts their numbers in the House of Representatives.
Exactly.
They wanted to eliminate the filibuster. They had the J6 impanel, the commission impanel, just so they can arrest their political opponents, like putting Steve Bannon in prison and Peter Navarro and everyone else, even though Eric Holder was held in contempt of Congress. They used Merrick Garland, go after their enemies, time and time and time again. They try to hold Republicans to the standards of the Constitution, which when they get power, they routinely flout. And if we actually had Republicans like who have backbone, not like Thune, not like all these punks who don't do anything when we have power, they've done nothing. They've passed one bill. Democrats, the House would have been, you know, passing H.R. 1, H.R. 2,
I mean,
H.R. 3.
Thune, we might as well, with Thune in there, we might as well have a Democrat, you know. Schumer might as well be running the Senate. I mean, Thune's no different than Schumer. He just doesn't have the reading glasses stuck to the tip of his nose. It's the only difference.
Yeah, I know. So it's like I would be like, no, we need to stick to the Constitution. But what's the point if we stick to it and then Democrats get in power, they completely set it on fire, and then when Republicans get in power, we don't do anything.
I mean, what is this? What is this with Thune where they can't pass the SAVE Act?
He's so compromised.
Yep.
Like I was so upset. I wanted Rick Scott to be the Senate leader when he was all right. But Thune is like, I take one look at this guy and I see like a Cheney or a Bush era, like a Jeb Bush. I see a weak, spineless, old guard Republican who hates Trump behind his back.
Yeah.
I mean, what has he done?
Yeah.
What have they done? Trump is carrying the team on his back.
Well, you know, yesterday J.D. Vance did a couple of interviews. He did an interview with Megyn Kelly yesterday, J.D. Vance, and he said in the Senate, he says every senator thinks that they can be president. Every one of them.
Yeah.
And he wasn't kidding.
Yeah.
And Thune sees him. Somebody has whispered in his ear that if he plays ball with the establishment, he can be president one day. And let me tell you, with this, if he doesn't pass this SAVE Act, how could I ever trust him?
But I don't even know anyone who likes him. You know what I mean? Like, our party is notorious for hating our own. You know, Mitch McConnell was at 20% approval rating towards the end of it. I don't see any difference between Thune and McConnell.
No.
I mean, Trump is like Trump. Oh my God, it's so infuriating because they are in office because of Trump. He carried them in the last election, and he got us the majorities. And then he gets the majorities, and they don't do anything.
Well, you know what's going on with these guys? You know what's going on with these guys? This is what they've told themselves. They're setting themselves up for a post-Trump Washington. And Thune is doing the work of the Republican establishment, the Weekly Standard Bush people. That's it.
I can't believe this. We have to fight two parties. We have to fight Republicans and we have to fight Democrats. And it's like, and we have to fight the deep state, which is like in it for themselves.
This 60-vote majority, that's not a law. That's just some cowardly thing that the Democrats got the stupid Republicans to agree with. When the Democrats are in power, they don't abide by that.
Oh, that's my whole point. They don't abide by any rules whatsoever. And that's why it's so laughable when they talk about the Constitution and human rights and all. They only say those things when they're not in power. But when they're in power, none of those things matter. I mean, you saw this on the college campuses where all of a sudden, when these Palestinian protesters were taking over the campus, there was free speech. But if I did that during George Floyd, it'd be hate speech, and this is a place of tolerance. It's like they always switch. So it's like, I don't know. If Trump runs, it's like, what's the point? Either way, get the guy back in. At least he cares. At least he's trying. So that's
what do you think the chances are of the SAVE Act passing through the Senate with Thune?
I think.
Zero?
I think we need to get used to being disappointed.
That's the voter ID, by the way, for those that don't know. But yeah, so you think zero chance?
And yeah, well, what is it? It really makes you think. Like, are they? Why don't they want it?
Don't they have to go through elections too? Don't they want?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I honestly think Republicans in the Senate and the House of Representatives, but the Senate most certainly, all they do is exist to disappoint the base.
Well, that's why I say we need Trump in. There's never going to be another president that is as strong as President Trump in our lifetime, no matter who we plug in, no matter how good they are. So that's why we need him.
Look at Newt Gingrich. Just the other day, he fell victim to the Democrat propaganda where he's like, "Oh, we need to meet a middle ground." Like, we need to meet a middle ground.
Well, Newt disappointed me. First off, Newt's a quitter. And then right after he quit, remember he did that global warming commercial with Nancy Pelosi after he left the Congress. Disgusting. I've never trusted Newt Gingrich since then. Listen, I'm late for the break, but I agree with everything you said. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. We'll be right back. Hey, now, guys, I want to ask you, there's a link in the description. I want to ask you guys to subscribe to Jupiter Joe's YouTube channel. All right? There's a link in the description of the video. And, he does a radio show on our radio stations. And he has a studio in his office. And he co-hosts this show with his daughter. And it's Jupiter Joe Money Show on YouTube. But there's a link in the description of the video. So if you guys could go to that, it's in the link. The link is in the description. Or you can just look it up, Jupiter Joe Money Show, and subscribe to Jupiter Joe's YouTube channel. I'd appreciate that if you don't mind, guys. All right, let me see. Where am I? Those of you that are new, welcome. All right, let me see. Yeah, those of you that have just subscribed, thanks so much. Yeah, the link is in the description. Jupiter Joe Money Show. You hear him? He comes on the show with me from time to time. He was on with me earlier this week. Yeah, the link is in the description. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll take some more calls and I have some other topics. Yeah, you can see he does the show. He has a nice studio in his office. See this? That he built there. He does his radio show from his office, but he records it for YouTube as well. Jupiter Joe Money Show. And thanks, guys, for subscribing. I do appreciate it. It's a good show, too. I've been on it more than once, and I was on it once in this new studio in his office he's had, I don't know, a couple of months. Now, Newt Gingrich was very disappointing. Remember that? Do any of you remember that commercial he did with Pelosi? I couldn't believe it. It was when she first became speaker, too, so she was at the height of her evilness. Ugh, it was awful. Okay, we'll be back shortly. Less than 2 minutes, we'll be back. I see some of you have subscribed. Thanks so much, guys. Again, the Jupiter Joe Money Show, the link is in the description of the video, or you can just search Jupiter Joe Money Show on YouTube. It'll pop up, Jupiter Joe Money Show, or click the link in the description, and please subscribe, guys. I'd appreciate it. Oh, man, I was doing some things before the show, and I inhaled a bunch of dust, which is not fun. All right. A little more than a minute. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. Oh, man. Thank you to everybody who's subscribing. I appreciate that. He has a really good show. He's got a very nice studio in his office. Okay. Here we go. 20 seconds. We're back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. President Trump did an interview with NBC News that aired last night. It's a very good interview. And they asked him about running in 2028, and he didn't say no. And, you know, this SAVE Act may be one of the most important single pieces of legislation in decades to go through Congress. I mean, this is something that should have been handled at the Constitutional Convention, but I guess they really didn't have state-issued photo ID back then because they didn't have photographs yet. But having state-issued photo ID is a requirement, or I guess a passport would work, I guess, but that doesn't have your address on it. But state-issued photo ID to vote, why is that even controversial? It's so important, and there's such frustration that we have Thune in the Senate who hides behind this 60 vote, filibusters and all these rules that they put in place to slow things down, as if he's on some higher plane of government existence than the rest of us. He uses that as an excuse not to push things through. And it's just disgusting, really, to sum it up. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello? People are here.
Turn down the volume of whatever device you're listening to me on in the background. Turn down the volume of whatever you're listening to me on in the background. Oh, my goodness.
Hello?
Yeah, goodbye. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Must be a Democrat. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. It's Job tonight out of California.
Hey, what's up, California?
I want to tell you, I'm so impressed with Luna. That is the kind of energy that we need to see.
With who? Who are you impressed with?
Luna.
Luna.
The female.
Anna
Florida,
Paul.
right?
Anna Paul. Yeah, Luna. Okay.
I'm sorry. She is beyond excellent. She has so much drive, and she just seems to be she's exactly the type of person that I personally think should be the head of the Senate, to be quite honest. I know she's in Congress,
yeah,
but she has a drive and has been a consistency. And the funny thing is that's what I thought of with Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's what I thought Marjorie Taylor Greene was. But Luna's smarter, because I don't know if you recall, but Marjorie Taylor was like complaining that she wasn't able to get her stuff passed.
Yeah.
Or presented. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
Well, she was complaining about that. Luna doesn't seem to have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
She just seems to be very creative in regards to how she wants to get the attention kind of focused. Because I think she actually.
Well, she's. I'll say this about. I mean, she at least seems like someone we could trust. I do appreciate the call though, but I want to kind of focus in on what we're talking about. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Are you talking to me?
Sounds like you.
Oh, yeah, I'm from Australia.
Oh, hey, Australia. What's on your mind?
The thing is, right, in Australia, right, we rely on America. We need a strong America because you're our ally, right?
That's right.
And I really love Trump, but the thing is, I know he's not perfect, but with the Democrats, right, which I see online, I mean, Trump could cure cancer and they'd still call him something terrible and they would, do whatever. I don't know why the hate is so bad, because the thing is well, maybe I'm not really that educated on it, but I think Trump's the best president that your country's ever had,
Oh, yeah, I'd agree with that 100%. Absolutely.
And the thing is, too, like,
and not only, you ask why they don't support him, right? You were asking why they don't support him. And are you back with me, Australian? It's super long distance, so we might have lost the connection. Are you back? You back with us, Australia?
Yeah.
Okay, we lost the connection for a second. Okay, what you were saying was, you don't know why they're against it. See, what's going on here? The people are behind President Trump. It's the political people that are against him, and they're against him because he's actually getting things done for the American people, and they don't like that.
And I see these videos online of all these homeless people. I mean, in Australia, we don't have that many homeless people, but
well, you don't have that many people.
And then the homeless veterans, that's really hard to watch and see that. But the thing is the thing about Trump is I like the fact that he says something and he does it.
Yeah.
And which I like, and we'd be screwed without America because, I mean, I know we rely on America in so many ways, but I love your show. I haven't subscribed or anything yet, but I don't subscribe much, but I will subscribe and like. But the thing is I don't understand the hate. I don't understand how.
Well, the main thing, I'll tell you what it is. The main thing that Trump does that they hate. Okay, I'm talking about the political class as a whole, right? Not just the Democrats, because the permanent Republicans hate him too. He cuts off their con games. I mean, you see these stories of the billions of dollars in theft in Minnesota, right? The theft out of California. He's shutting off their financial criminal operation. That's the main reason. He doesn't, that's it. That's there's other reasons, but that's the main one.
I actually saw a video, apparently these childcare centres that get government funding,
yes,
and they don't have any children in them.
Yeah, the Leering centers, yes.
So there is a lot of fraud going on, it's crazy.
In Minneapolis, it's $19 billion that they've stolen, the Somali pirates there from the government. $19 billion, yeah. That's probably the whole budget of Australia.
And you know what else, too, what I like about Trump? Trump decided not to get paid a wage,
that's right,
for being a president.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me was really amazing because people love money, but I was really proud of him because he decided not to take any money. So that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, listen, welcome from Australia, and call again sometime.
I will. Thank you so much, and I'm really blessed to have spoken to you. And, good luck to America, and bless you all. All
right, take care. We have a lot of listeners in Australia. We've really built up a pretty good listener base in Australia. We could do a personal appearance in Australia. I don't know what part of Australia, maybe Sydney, I don't know, but I get a lot of people that listen to this program from Australia. And you know what it is with President Trump, people in the English-speaking world see Donald Trump as a great unifier and savior of the English-speaking world. We're different countries, but we're the same civilization, right? Australia, the United States, Canada. UK is lost, right? That's part of Muslim civilization now. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Hey, Doc, what's up?
Hey, man, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Thanks for
That's
asking.
good. That's good. Hey, look, I just want to say a lot of people. I was listening to you. There was the interview about Trump and all that, and I think, Brian, it's like I'm gonna use a perfect example. It's like with ICE. ICE, if I was just watching different shows, if ICE was only going after the bad people, which they should go after, everything would be good. But just the stuff they're doing. And I think now Trump is realizing that's not going good, so he could go try to change.
Maybe you can help me, Doc. You know, being a doc and all, you obviously have some knowledge that maybe I don't. You know, can you tell me what country I could move to tomorrow and take all my business with me, right? You know, the radio show, my podcast, my YouTube channel, without any documentation, where I could go to what country in the world could I go to, set up shop, and not have any documentation? And by the way, that'll give me free food and a free place to live and send my kid to college. What other country would allow me to do that?
I don't know. Why don't you try it and see? Why don't you try it and see?
What can you think of a country that would allow me to do that?
No,
without
I don't know, because I don't know.
Well, do you know?
I'm good
Well,
where I'm
do you
at.
know
Why don't you
why?
try it and see?
Don't get. See, he's getting all panicked. Why do you think?
I'm not getting panicked.
Why do
I'm not getting panicked.
You're getting very hysterical. Tell me why you think you cannot name a country where I could do that.
Because I don't know. Why don't you try and find out,
Here's
Brian?
the answer. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
So why is this the only country in the world where people can come to without any documents? And by the way, maybe they've raped and murdered people in their other country. They come here, they get set up, they get a whole new identity, they get free food and lodging and education for their kids. Why are we the only country in the world that does that?
Because we're America. Because maybe this country, that's how this country was built and made.
By
like
murderers?
saying,
But
Brian,
you mean this country was made by murderers and rapists?
I did not say that. I did not say it was made by murdering rapists.
Well, then what are you saying?
I did not say that. I'm saying maybe this country was made for people to come. We shouldn't be murdering rapists here, because maybe the vetting needs to be better.
Do you know you have kids, right?
No, I don't have any kids.
Oh, well, now I understand why you have such a naive view of the world.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Back the fuck up.
Whoa, first one of the day. That was out of the blue, Mike. Oh boy. Oh boy. Did you get that one, Mike? I hope so. Oh my goodness. If you're on hold, stand by. I never expected that from Doc. Doc, pretty sensitive subject there. Oh man. It's tax season. With the big beautiful bill, the entire tax code has changed. You want to make sure that you're getting all the deductions that you're entitled to under the law. And you also want to make sure that you get the largest return that you are entitled to. Call Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. He'll make sure you get all the deductions you're entitled to and get the largest return that you're owed from the IRS. And he can help you no matter where you are in the United States. He's located in Broward County, and of course you can go and meet with him in person like I did, but you don't have to. Even if you're local, you can handle everything over the phone with him, and he can also take care of your taxes no matter where you are in the United States. And that, by the way, goes for your federal taxes, your business taxes, your payroll taxes, your state income taxes. He can handle all of that for you. Give him a call. And with Jamie Levac at Swift Tax, you can get your tax return in as little as 24 hours. Here's his number. This number rings directly to Jamie Levac, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587. We'll be right back. Boy, oh boy, Doc lost it, didn't he? Boy, oh boy. What is that all about? I want to thank everyone who's, I was asking you guys during the last break to subscribe to Jupiter Joe, and a lot of you did, and he's just shy of 200. I'm trying to get him over 200 subscribers today. So I'd like to get him up to 1,000, So if you could please go and subscribe, okay? The link is in the description of the video, okay? Or you can just search Jupiter Joe Money Show on YouTube. Trying to get him up to the 1,000 subscribers, but I'd like to break 200 right now if we could. So make sure you subscribe. What was that all about with Doc? Holy smokes. Doc really lost it there on me. I would not expect that from Doc. You know, I mean, that's obviously a very sensitive subject matter for Doc. Why exactly? I don't know. But it is. I don't know. What do you guys think? Why is that such a sensitive topic for Doc? Oh, my goodness. He'll probably call back and have some reason as to why it's so, inappropriate for me to have said that to him. You know, he'll maybe try to blame me for him being out of control. Okay, we are just one subscriber short of the 200, guys. And if I could get him to the 1,000, if all of you that are watching me right now subscribe, we could really boost his subscriber numbers. And let's see, what time are we coming back here? Okay, we got 2 minutes till we're back. So, guys, please take the time. The link to Jupiter Joe's YouTube channel is in the description, or you can just search Jupiter Joe Money Show on YouTube, and it will come up. I'm going to go back to the phones when we get back, and then at the top of the hour, I'm going to bring up some other things. But, boy, that was really unexpected with him. I did not expect him to talk that way. 90 seconds, and we'll be back. Did you guys think that was out of character for Doc from Texas? I mean, he's a liberal, and he always gives me some grief. But, oh, man. You've always got to be ready for that. Oh, thank you, everybody. Jay Ward just subscribed. Thank you to everyone who subscribed to Jupiter Joe's channel. But yeah, please keep doing. We're a minute away till we're back. I'd really like to get him to 1,000 subscribers. If all of you watching subscribe, we could make that happen. Yeah. And his show's very good. You'll enjoy it. All right, about 30 seconds. We'll be back. Oh. It happens. You know, I'm used to it. I inhaled tons of dust this morning. I was doing something in the garage, which I shouldn't have been doing before the show. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Boy, Doc from Texas caught me off guard there. We got it, but I mean, I was not expecting him to talk that way. I mean, he calls regularly. He's a liberal. We always disagree, but whew. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug. Oh, man. Doc from Texas. Oh, my goodness.
So interesting. Just yesterday, I had my 28 hat, and one of the liberals I played paddleball with said, "Oh, what do you got that hat on? You know that's impossible." I said, "No, it's not. We can change the Constitution." Well, we can't change the Constitution. Well, the Constitution's been changed before. Oh yeah, but now we'll never allow it. The Democrats will never allow it. I said, let me ask you something. If you got a quarterback, and the best quarterback of all time, completing a pass after pass after pass, you're going to take him out of the game? Everything is being...
I just saw, when I was watching the other day, I was watching a couple weeks ago, one of the college games, was it University of Miami? I can't remember. One of them, and like the quarterback they'd said had graduated, or I couldn't believe. I mean, look at how they've changed the rules in college football to let these guys play forever. Yeah. I used to hear about fifth year seniors, but now they got like grad students playing and they pay them and all this stuff. That's exactly right. You make a good point.
Yeah, man, you certainly we're going to need him. So then what does he say? Oh, well, we don't like President. He lies too much. I said, what do you mean? What did he lie? Well, he said we're going to get a $2,000 check. Where's the check?
It's coming.
I said, the check is coming, man. Relax.
It's in the mail. But
well,
you know what you said was interesting. You were playing paddleball. I didn't know people still played paddleball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a dying sport because everybody switched over to pickleball. But but paddleball, much nicer game.
I've never played pickleball.
We have a group of that.
Do you play pickleball with a tennis ball? What do you play? I've never played pickleball. I know they're turning all the tennis courts in the condos here in Florida into pickleball courts. I know that.
Yeah, that's what they're doing, man. They're changing a lot of them. People like that game.
Tennis is out.
It's people are still playing tennis, but it's not as much people trying it but they use like a wiffle ball. I played the game.
Oh my goodness!
It's kind of like a wiffle ball. It's
really?
an interesting game. It's fun, but it's
wiffle ball, the
not
plastic ball with holes in it.
Yeah, plastic ball with holes in it.
Oh, okay.
It's a good game. It's not bad. I mean, women like it because they can play.
I'm not into games. I'm not into games myself, but I don't do any sports or athletics. I don't do anything anymore. I used to. But,
I find it to be something that keeps you in shape. Mm-hmm. You lose weight when you exercise, but you stay in shape. Yeah. But anyway, it's just paddleball. We have a hard time. We used to be so many people playing paddleball.
All right. I appreciate the call, but I just was thinking. I mean, paddleball used to be a big thing. Like you'd go to the gym and they used to have paddleball courts. What did they do with all those old paddleball courts at the gyms? I see them in, like, if I go to the dog park or something, they got paddleball courts. I guess they're just there in case Conservative Doug stops by. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, how you doing? My name is Don. I'm from Tennessee.
Don in Tennessee on a very staticky phone. Turn down the volume in the background. Get ready, Mike.
Yeah, I don't got any volume.
All right, what's on your mind, Tennessee?
But I will say this, if we're going to have a discussion. So I agree with what ICE is doing. I think that it's right for them to be deporting illegals that have come into the country wrongfully. But I do not agree that they are stopping U.S. citizens and violating their Fourth Amendment rights. They're stopping U.S. citizens and entering their houses without judicial warrants. They're using administrative warrants, which do not need to be signed by a judge. That is
I don't know about how all that works. But do you know how many? U.S. Can you turn down the volume in the background? On whatever device you're listening to.
I will try my best, Brian. But I don't.
What do you mean try your best? There's a volume. Turn it down. What do you mean try your best? Just turn it down.
It's all the way down.
Maybe you could be. Maybe we could deport. All right, I gotta let you go. I mean, my goodness. Maybe he should be deported. I was gonna ask him this question, but because he wouldn't turn down the volume, and he's on a staticky cordless phone. Conservative Doug's the last man alive that plays paddleball. That last caller from Tennessee is the last man alive that's using a cordless phone. Do you know how many Americans have been mistakenly deported by the Trump administration with ICE? This is what I was going to ask him about. Do you guys know? How many Americans have been wrongly deported? I've got the number. Does anyone know? Easy question. I wanted to talk to him about it, but between the phone and his refusal to turn down the volume, I couldn't do it. How many Americans, and by the way, when I say Americans, I don't mean South Americans or North Americans. I mean United States citizens, United States of Americans. How many U.S. citizens have been wrongly deported by the Trump administration? You know how many? How many do you think? 1,000, 100, 500? Zero. Not a single U.S. citizen has been wrongly deported. Now, which is, I know it doesn't fit into what they want you to believe. When Barack Hussein Obama was president, do you know how many U.S. citizens were wrongly deported? There were U.S. citizens, the number's greater than 0, 4. Obama wrongly deported 4 U.S. citizens. Now, that's not too many, but it's still 4 U.S. citizens that were deported, and his deportations were many fewer than what Trump has done. Not a single U.S. citizen has been wrongly deported by the Trump administration. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's John.
Okay, you
How's
got your
my
phone
doing this time? Is it sounding a little
Yeah,
better?
I'll give you I saw it was you on the line, so I put you back on. I give you a second. I talked about this after you left, so you probably heard me, but not a single U.S. citizen has been wrongly deported by the Trump administration, okay? And so far as people getting stopped or questioned, so what? People get stopped all the time by the cops.
Brian, I agree with you, and I honestly did not say anything about American citizens being deported. You're the only one saying that.
No, I'm not. A lot of liberals are spreading that lie. People, a lot of times,
that's not what I'm saying.
A lot of times, you know, police and ICE are federal cops, right? They're police. They will stop people to do checks in the course of their police work. And sometimes
agree, Brian,
sometimes people may seem like they're illegal and are not.
That's fine, Brian, but that is not at all what I said. What I said was ICE is violating the Fourth Amendment by issuing the administrative warrants to enter people's houses. I understand that ICE is
are you an
stopping people on
attorney?
the street.
Are you an attorney?
Yeah, well, actually, this is law that was passed.
Wait,
Brian.
are you an
if you search
attorney?
it up,
Are you an
can see it for
attorney?
yourself.
You said you're an attorney?
I study law, Brian.
You study law?
Brian,
Reading, all right, appreciate it. Reading Wikipedia is not being a lawyer. He lied. He said he would. I asked, are you a lawyer? He says, yeah. Now he studies law. Reading Wikipedia doesn't count. Watching TikToks doesn't count as studying law. Oh, my goodness. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the top and be right back. Oh my goodness! I asked him if he was a lawyer. He said yes, and then he walked that back. Oh man! Thanks everyone who subscribed to Jupiter Joe's YouTube channel. Let me see where we're at here. Awesome, guys. We broke the 200 mark, but please subscribe if you haven't already. We'll take a quick break and be right back. All right, we are 1 minute away from returning. We're still in radio break. Oh man, this if you're on hold, stand by. Okay. We got about 20 seconds, and we will be back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Those of you on hold, stand by. Our number is 888-465-2631. I'm going to play something for you, which I thought hard before I decided to play this. I saw this early this morning when I was doing my show prep, and it was very disturbing. But it has to be shared because it's a big problem. You know, I don't talk too much about religion on the program. I'm Christian. I've been a Christian my entire life. My wife and I became Catholic, I don't know, about 15 years ago or so. And I don't talk about religion for a number of reasons. One, you know, I'm not, one of my biggest failings, my wife will tell you, I don't read my Bible enough, okay? So that's one thing. I can't, you know, I'm not one to get involved in a Bible debate. I'm just not schooled enough on the Bible, which is my fault and certainly a failing as a Christian. But I am a true believer, and I don't, you know, I know people say faith, faith, faith. I know, okay? And so I'm very much a Christian. And I don't like to, and I don't bring it up not just because I don't read my Bible like I should, I don't. I don't like to call people out about their Christianity. I know a lot of people do that, and people like to decide who's a true Christian and who's not. I don't do that. I don't like doing that. I don't feel it's appropriate. And I don't like this battle that goes on between different groups of Christians, right? Different denominations that are Protestant. So many people don't like Catholics. Some of the things that I hear people say to me about Catholics is insane. You know, and we're all Christians. We all accept Jesus, and that's, if you're a Christian, you accept Jesus, and that's mainly what I care about. All right, I don't, these other little things and differences. It's ridiculous to debate such things. We could do more if we were united. But those are the reasons I don't talk about it too much. The fact that I don't read the Bible enough is the lesser of all the reasons. But from time to time, things happen. And, you know, churches, the major Protestant religions in this country, and this, by the way, is true in the Catholic Church, but it's more obvious in Protestant churches. By the way, Protestant, for the liberally impaired, are Christian denominations that aren't Catholic. Okay, Catholic is not a denomination, by the way. A lot of people think Catholic is a denomination like Baptist or something. No, Catholicism is just Christianity. We're not a denomination. But the Protestant denominations, most of them, Methodist, Baptist, you can name them, there's two churches in the country, one liberal and one conservative. Right? You ever heard of the Southern Baptist, right? Southern Baptist Convention, okay? The Southern Baptist, those are the conservatives that are Baptist. Same goes, you know, so, but there's liberal Baptist. It's true with every denomination, pretty much. There's a liberal branch and a conservative branch. And I remember I was, my wife and I, before we were Catholic, we went to a Methodist church in Plantation. The United Methodist Church of Plantation is where we went to church for years. And I used to do the sound during church services. I was the board op during church services and sometimes funerals, and on Christmas and Easter and special things. And I didn't like doing the funerals. I did a couple funerals, and I told him no more. I couldn't do it. I remember I ran the sound for a funeral of a 2-year-old boy who drowned in a swimming pool, and he was lying there and I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore, you know. And but I did the sound. I just couldn't do the funerals anymore. But we went to the Methodist Church for many years, and we stopped because we moved to Boca, and the Methodist Church in our neighborhood in Boca just was not for us. And we eventually found our way to one of the local Catholic churches. But regardless of all that, when I remember this, when Gulf War II started, Operation, you know, with George W. Bush and Dick Cheney, there was some Methodist bishops were talking about, they got national attention. They were talking about arresting George W. Bush and Dick Cheney and sending them to The Hague to be on trial for war crimes. Methodist bishops and people in the church were freaking out. They were really ticked because at least when I was going to that church, the people that went there were very conservative. And the senior pastor, I remember, he's not there anymore, I'm sure. It's been a long time. His name is Pastor Smiley. He called a special meeting. And he says, that's not us. There's this other Methodist church that are Democrats, and we're the conservative branch of the Methodist, and we don't agree with any of that. You know, and I realized every church in this country is that way. So this is I think it's Presbyterian. This is a lady. I'm going to play the audio that I'm about to share with you. Is a Presbyterian lady minister. She is speaking to her congregation. And the things that she says are so, I can't believe that this happened in a church. It's a Presbyterian lady minister. She's speaking to her congregation, and she's talking about abortion and Jesus. Listen to this. Oh my goodness. Wow. So she's saying Jesus would escort women into abortion clinics to have their abortions, is what she just said. And she's in her minister clothes. She's, and she's preaching to her congregation. Oh my. Oh my goodness. I mean, this is real. This is real. She's not done. Ugh. Oh my goodness. I mean, that I cannot. Whew. That's insane. That's completely insane. And I would like to think that the congregation was in such shock that they didn't say anything. I cannot imagine. Now, there was the only time abortion came up in any church service I've been into is when Obamacare was being debated. And remember, there was a lot of opposition from pro-life people because you were required to, they were requiring men to have gynecologist coverage and stuff. Remember all this in Obamacare? But abortion was a big issue because of you were going to have to pay for abortion coverage and all that. It was a very, very controversial thing. And Priest for Life came and gave the homily at Mass on a Sunday. And we had him as a guest on the show the Monday after that. And I saw women get up and walk out of the church. I've never seen anything like that before. I mean, they got up and they walked out when he was talking. And of course, you knew who they were outing themselves as having had abortions, I would imagine, for the most part. I like to keep politics out of church. You know, I know when I go to church, not everybody in there is a conservative. There's liberals in there. I know that, especially being Catholic and all. But there's certain things as Christians that are universal, that aren't political, and one of those is abortion. You can't be pro-abortion and be a Christian in good standing. In fact, in the Catholic Church, you're not even permitted, according to the Pope himself, and not just this Pope, previous popes, if you advocate abortions or take part in abortions, which means all Democrats, you're not permitted to take communion. Priests still give them communion, and they violate that, but there's very strict things. This woman here, I've never heard anything like that in my life. I've seen crazy ministers, gay ministers, and things talking about gay rights and everything, but I've never heard anyone talk that way about abortion with Jesus. Have you? I mean, this is so far beyond anything I've ever seen. I just felt important to share it with you. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I'll go back to You're welcome to call in about anything I brought up so far, but I'd very much like to hear your thoughts on this. I want to remind you that the mega sale is going on right now at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE at MyPillow.com. Huge savings site-wide on all the top MyPillow products, and it's free shipping on every order, no matter how large or small. If you order one set of sheets, one set of towels, or you order the MyPillow mattress or mattress toppers or anything in between, it's free shipping on every order with our promo code KANE at checkout. This is a once-in-a-year thing. This does not come around often. The free shipping will end without notice. So go to MyPillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, free shipping on every order. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, KANE. And don't forget, free shipping on every order. Take advantage of it while it's there. We'll be right back. All right, we'll be back shortly. We're still in radio break. Oh, let me check the time. We've got just over a minute, and we'll be back. I'm hearing a car alarm. Can't be mine. No, it's not mine. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll go to the phones when we get back. Okay, it's off. The car alarm went off. Yeah, if you'd like to call in, the number's toll free. It's pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Toll free call. 30 seconds. Yeah, it is bad. I mean, that's the worst. I've never heard anything that sick before, ever. I mean, that really is, that's pretty bad. 20 seconds. We're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name's Brian. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It is Chris from Chicago.
Hey, Chris in Chicago. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to correct you on something you mentioned earlier. The Trump administration has deported over 70 U.S. citizens. Let me see, 170 of those citizens were detained.
That's not deported.
I wanted to correct you on that.
Deported means deported means you get picked up by ICE or Border Patrol, and next thing you know, you're in Venezuela or you're in that prison in El Salvador. Getting stopped or detained by ICE is not deportation. You're being removed from the country.
Over 70 U.S. citizens was deported by the Trump administration. This is according to the Government Accountability Office.
They're wrong. Not one U.S. citizen. And I'll tell you this:
what's your source? What's your source?
My source is the White House.
What website you looking up?
The White House, whitehouse.gov.
It says 0, huh?
Yeah. See, and another thing that proves that I'm right about this, you say there were 70, right? 70?
70, yeah.
Yeah. If there were 70 people who were deported, who were U.S. citizens, who were deported to another country, they would have a group of them who would be traveling around the country leading protest against ICE. They'd be on television doing interviews and everything else.
They are. You just choose to ignore them.
Nope.
What are you talking about?
U.S. citizen. A U.S. citizen was sent to Venezuela or Bolivia or put in a prison somewhere in El Salvador. Come on. I'm not going to sit here and be gaslit.
Why don't you just look up the information before you mention, like you?
What do you think I do before I go on the air? Google? I go to the White House. Whitehouse.gov. The President of the United States.
Why would they tell on themselves? They're not going to tell on themselves.
Why would they tell
on themselves? They got to be held accountable.
I need to go to Google. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and be gaslit by liars. You know, gaslighting is lying. It's propaganda. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Matt from Fort Pierce.
Hey, Matt in Fort Pierce. What's on your mind?
Hey, I was calling in about that Presbyterian minister.
Oh, pretty disturbing, huh?
I mean, yeah, that's the craziest thing I've heard.
It's pretty sick.
And, you know, I noticed she didn't quote any Bible verses or anything to support her claim that she's
making up her own. Are you? You know, you're in Indian River County, right?
St. Lucie County.
Oh, you're in Fort Pierce, St. Lucie. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You're not in Indian River. There was a big demonstration in Indian River County last night about this Muslim community proposal, but you're not in Indian River, so I won't ask you to comment. Well,
No, I didn't.
Here's the thing with American churches, okay? Like in Fort Lauderdale, they have a gay Catholic church. They got, it's not Roman Catholic. They may claim to be. What happens with leftists, it's like that last caller I was just talking to before you. They call in and, just like the churches, and they make stuff up. They make up their own truth. And we've got liberals that have made their way into churches that are doing the exact same thing. Jesus would support abortion, right? Jesus would say that being gay is okay. All this, that's what they do. And it's a way that they fight against, well, everything that we stand for. Truth, justice, and the American way, basically. I mean, that's a pretty sick thing.
Yeah. And, in the Bible, there was churches then that were doing some crazy stuff, but they were called out on it and reprimanded for it.
And that doesn't mean, by the way, those of you that are liberal, people who have had abortions or who are gay are welcome in the churches. Churches for sinners. We're all sinners. But there's a difference between welcoming people in to try to, get them over their sins, as opposed to endorsing their sins and saying their sins are okay. Whether it's abortion or murder, which abortion is, or any other crime, right? It's really...
Exactly.
It's scary. And I don't know. I don't know if the people in the church are like-minded or we're sitting there in shock and disbelief and silence. I'd be physically ill. I wouldn't believe... I would be in shock. If I was in church and I heard the minister... And I've been to churches that have had women as ministers. If I saw a woman in her priestly clothes telling me that, I would be in such shock, I probably would feel like it wasn't happening. Right? You know what I mean?
I mean, and hopefully some of her congregants, realized that they were in the wrong place. And another place to go.
Well, the one that's in the wrong place is her. She should be in the pews.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome to the show, Fort Pierce.
Thanks.
Yeah.
One more thing.
Yep.
Another thing you'll notice that all these big pro-abortion people do is they call it something sacred.
Yes, that's right.
Having an abortion.
It's like a holy sacrament, abortion to them.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to child sacrifice.
Yeah. By the way, Fort Pierce in St. Lucie County has done us proud. Yesterday, we got the life sentence for the Trump assassin. And, of course, he was tried and convicted in a Fort Pierce court. If that trial would have been in Virginia, he may not have been convicted. And at that federal courthouse in Fort Pierce, we're told that Pam Bondi has at least one, maybe two grand juries involving the break-in of Mar-a-Lago. So, Martin County and St. Lucie County are the two most MAGA counties in America. So hopefully that grand jury in Fort Pierce is going to come back with some indictments against Brennan and Comey.
Yeah.
I hope so. All right, well, listen.
God bless you, Brian. I love your show.
All right, well, welcome to the program. One of our new listeners in Fort Pierce, Florida. All right, let's go. Oh, no, if you're on hold, stand by. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Yeah, the phones are ringing off the hook, guys. So if you're on hold, stand by, okay? All right, we're still in radio break. Let me check. What time are we coming back? One minute. We'll be back in 1 minute. So if you're on hold, stand by. Those of you that subscribe to Jupiter Joe's YouTube channel, thank you so much. If you've not already done it, please do. It's the link is in the description. And we broke the 200 mark. I'd really like to get him to that 1,000 if we could. So Jupiter Joe, he's on the show from time to time. He was on earlier this week, Monday. The link is in the description, or just search Jupiter Joe Money Show on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. I really would appreciate it, guys. And so would Joe. All right, we're back. I'm Brian to the Steve Kane Show. Back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Howdy. John calling from Ohio.
John in Ohio. What's on your mind?
A few things. So, look, not trying to make you feel gaslit, not trying to, have a debate here. Like, I'm just in disagreement with some of the things that you said.
Disagreements? What are you in disagreements about?
Well, so with that other caller that called in and said those things about the U.S. citizens getting deported. So I'm looking at the U.S. Government Accountability Office website, and they do have information that is suggesting that individuals were who were, well, yeah, I mean, I'm saying suggesting, that is the word that I used there, but I mean, this is
no U.S. citizens have been deported by the Trump administration.
Well, so they're reporting that in 2020 that
we're talking about. No, I don't know what happened before. We're talking about now. There's a massive nationwide deportation.
You are.
Well, it's my show. We're talking about what I'm talking about. Not with random guys in Chicago and Ohio. Right now, there is a massive deportation operation going on, right? And the Democrats have been saying, there was on television and congressional hearings, everywhere they got a mic and a camera, that they're deporting American citizens. That is not true. ICE has not deported American citizens. I'm talking about now in this second Trump administration with the largest deportation operation in the history of the United States taking place.
Well, I mean, Abrego Garcia was.
He's not an American citizen. He is not an American citizen.
Officially an American citizen, but he's
not officially. No, he's not an American citizen. He's a citizen of El Salvador and a member. Excuse me.
I'm not arguing that.
Excuse me. That's the. By the way, guys, that's the fake. That's the fake Maryland man, right? He is an El Salvadorian citizen and a member of a international terrorist organization, MS-13.
Well, according to the Trump administration.
According to the tattoos on his fingers.
You are so unwilling to trust Biden or listen to the administration of Obama. You'll discredit anything that comes out
Biden
of those
is a senile old man with Alzheimer's.
Trump. Well, so is Trump. Like,
no, he's not.
Speak the way that
he's not a senile. He's not a senile old man.
He has no understanding.
He doesn't know about economics. He's a billionaire.
Yeah, he inherited all that money.
No, he didn't.
Being a billionaire.
No, don't you know the Donald Trump story?
You to understand economics.
Don't you know the Donald Trump story? He didn't inherit that money.
He inherited a bunch of money from his dad. He wasted all of it. He had to
bought,
get money from other government. Yes, that's why he's in the pocket of Russia and China and all these other governments. Yes, I know his story. Have you read it? Have you looked it up?
What you know is alt history.
I don't think that you do.
Who wrote your?
That's what you think.
Can you stop? Can you stop speaking while I'm speaking?
Well, you're not letting me talk.
That's right. You're
interrupting me and not letting me talk.
No, you're interrupting me, and I'm allowing you to be a part of the conversation. Your history of Donald Trump must have been written by Harry Turtledove, and if you don't know who Harry Turtledove is, Google. You'll get the joke. Donald Trump borrowed $1 million from his father and began his real estate empire in New York City, in Manhattan. And by the way, he paid his dad back that $1 million. Nope, I've not known anyone paying back their parents other than Donald John Trump. Yeah, that's true. His father had the business, but not in Manhattan. President Trump took it to Manhattan and made himself a billionaire 10 times over.
Okay, so he got the money from his.
He borrowed $1 million. He borrowed $1 million from his dad, which he paid back.
You'll have to.
Yeah, well, let me tell you, this is a place where people come who know what they're talking about.
I do know what I'm talking about.
No, you don't.
The information that I have, and just
I'm sorry that you don't have this information. I can't dumb down the show and get out the fat pencils and the crayons.
I'm going to call you out and fact check the things that you're saying.
Well,
Give me the source for that information.
Fine. Fact check it. Not now. It's one call per day, all right? Thanks for your call. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, good morning, Brian. Chris from Pompano Beach.
Hey, Chris.
Good morning. Yeah, I mean, it's more of the same, obviously, but this is one of the very worst case scenarios. You have any kind of minister or someone claiming to be a messenger of God, justifying their own hurt and pain, because that's what it is. She admitted she had 2 abortions. So
that's exactly right.
And there was plenty of ministries out there that help women who feel the hurt and pain and shame of murdering a child that they otherwise regret, and they never cover that at the abortion clinics, how much pain and suffering there is afterwards when they manipulate these poor women.
Well, the woman, the lady preacher, this is what she's doing, okay? She has a lot of guilt for what she's done, like many women who have had abortions have. And what she's trying to do is she's gaslighting herself. She's trying to convince herself that what she did was okay. And if she can get other women to do what she did, then what she did's okay.
100% justifying it, yeah. And, and using her medium, which is the worst. I mean, yeah, you have TV anchors and teachers influencing otherwise, other sins. But this using the church, come on. I mean, that's horrible. And again, it's like you say, she's justifying it to a point where she's doubling down. And, well, what are you going to do? So,
what we're going to do is, talk about it, I guess. I mean, but I would imagine that she's gotten some feedback from her bishops, I hope. Who knows? Her bishop may be a gay guy who's got a husband and thinks that what she did was okay. You never know with some of these churches, right? Some of them are pretty left.
Exactly. Like some of them start with that whole thing. Hey, we need a place for us too. So let's do this and go this route. Their own set of rules. But
we're not talking about tar and feathering women who have had abortions. But you don't have a minister. Sometimes a minister like who was the one that back in the 80s got caught with picking up the hookers, the big televangelist?
Oh, right. I remember that Baker or something.
No, not Jim Baker. Not Jim Baker. Jim Baker he was having sex with the secretary.
Right now,
who was the one? He got caught soliciting a prostitute in his car, and he had a custom license plate that said preacher on the license plate. He was one, and then he went to the church and said, "I have sinned against you." I cannot remember that guy's name. He's one of those famous. Jimmy Swaggart. Thank you very much, Jimmy Swaggart.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, Jimmy Swaggart went in front of his church after he got busted and begged for forgiveness from his congregation, from his family, from his wife, and from Jesus. Okay, he didn't go up there and say it's okay to pick up prostitutes, right, and pay them. Right. And commit adultery and do all these things. You understand what I mean? So it is okay to be a sinner who confesses your sins and still be, by the way, you could still be, depending on what happened, a preacher, a priest. You could still minister as somebody who's committed one of these grave sins. It's
Yeah, great point. That's exactly what I was going to mention, because that's a good thing about Christianity. You can stop on a dime, repent, and move forward, but not with this crazy.
But you can't go up there and start saying that, and by the way, abortion's one of the big 10. It's murder. So she's, so that's crazy. She's, thou shalt not kill. And she's up there telling us that that's what Jesus would support. I mean, it's twisted.
Doubling down. Well, again, hey, what do you expect from liberals? But yeah, that's horrible, because she may influence one or two other people who say, okay, yeah, good, and even influence it. So yeah, no, it's wrong. So I'm glad it's being exposed.
Indeed.
But,
all right, Chris, I appreciate the call. Good points. Chris calls are always good. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, my name is John, and I'm from Nebraska.
Okay, Nebraska. What's up?
So the reason I was calling is, first, I wanted to ask you real quick, because this is going to pertain to what we're going to talk about. Are you a veteran?
No.
Okay. I figured not. Now, what I want to ask you is this. How are we anti-war if we're building up a huge armada off the coast of Iran and we're preparing to strike them and start a regional war?
No, I want to get back to this thing. When I said I'm not a veteran, you said...
So you're going to ignore what I just said, buddy?
Yes. So
you don't have any respect for what I'm saying.
No,
you see,
I didn't say any of that. So no, when you said when I told you I'm not a veteran and you said you figured, what did that mean?
The way that you speak about warfare, you do not really value.
What is this? What is this? Starship Troopers? You have to be a veteran to be a citizen? Usually,
we're building off. Go ahead. I'll let you talk. Go ahead.
You're letting me talk? No, I'm letting you talk.
Well, I mean,
don't you understand how this works? I'm letting you talk. You're not letting me talk. Okay, here's the thing.
Okay, well, go ahead and talk, Brian. Go ahead.
Usually, when some brain dead person like you calls in and asks me that, I don't give that answer. I usually give a different answer. This is the answer I would normally give. I've served in the military for the same amount of time as President Clinton, President Obama, President Biden, and President Trump.
So 0?
And President Obama. Did I say Obama? I'll make sure I get him in.
So 0. So 0 years?
Well, yeah, it's the same thing. This is
this
isn't the Second World War or Vietnam where everyone's getting drafted.
That's fine. I'll let you continue what you're saying.
No, you're going to let me continue? You're going to let me continue?
Yeah. Because this is not at all on the topic of what we were talking about.
What do you mean the topic we're talking? What are you talking about? Your buddy in some chat room?
Me and you, Brian. I'm talking to you, one-on-one as a person.
Listen, so far as Iran, how old are you?
I am 35.
Okay, you're not old enough to really have a worldview to understand Iran. But Iran...
That's fine, Brian. You can say what you want, but can I say my point? Because you didn't even let me finish.
I'll decide. But I don't know yet. I'm up against a break. But see, since 19...
Okay, how are we anti-war if we're building an armada off the coast of Iran? We're about to start a regional war.
I'm trying to answer your question, but I think I'm answering it in a way that's just too intellectual for you to understand. But I'm gonna attempt it anyway.
Well, you went off into a trope because you got offended that you're not a veteran.
I'm not offended I'm not a veteran. Everybody in this audience knows I'm not a veteran.
Well, you had to be like, oh, well, I'm the same as Obama.
And I don't know if we want to be bragging about you being a veteran. I don't know if we want to brag about you being a veteran because, I mean, I would think we have higher standards for our service personnel than you.
It's always civilians that batter the war drums the hardest.
Here we are, Robert Heinlein. We're in the world of Robert Heinlein.
Batter the war drums the hardest.
Now, I'm not battling war drums. But let me tell you about Iran.
You are not willing to call out that we are building a big armada off the coast of Iran.
Listen,
we're about to start a regional war.
I'm going to respond to
We are about to start a regional war that may pull in Russia and China.
Excuse me.
And
I'm about to respond to you.
Cannot see the risk in
Are
human life that is
Are you in the military right now?
No, I just said I'm a veteran.
You're a civilian.
Yeah, but I did more than you, buddy. I actually served this country. Where you sit here and beat the war drums as we build a big armada off the coast of Iran.
This is what you don't understand, okay? And don't worry.
No, this is what you don't understand. If we go to war with Iran,
we're up against a break.
We're
up against a break, and I'm going to have to let you go.
Off into your trope.
Excuse me.
You've been getting destroyed all night by these callers.
You're on hold. I'm going to end your call shortly because I'm up against a break. All right, he hung up. I'm going to respond to him, and then we're going to break, okay? I'd like to respond to him, but he obviously just can repeat the same thing over and over and over again and not have any intellectual discussion. Since 1979, when the Islamic Revolution happened and they took our embassy, there's been nonstop violence and death coming from Iran. They've been funding all the Islamic terrorism of the world. You guys know this, including the recent war in Gaza. You know everything that's been going on. But for the last several years, they've been trying to kill the President of the United States, Donald Trump. They've been trying to assassinate him repeatedly since he took out Soleimani, the Iranian general, who was the Iranian general in charge of global Islamic terrorism. They not only have they been trying to kill him nonstop, they had the death squads in the country during the campaign. So what we're doing with Iran is not us going to war or starting a war. We've been in a state of war with Iran, arguably since 1979, but certainly since they've been trying to kill President Trump. So what President Trump is doing is taking them out and ending the war that Iran began against us. But Starship Troopers here, where only veterans or citizens couldn't hang around and have an intellectual discussion. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. I'm going to talk about that caller for a minute when we get back. If you'd like to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. If you're on hold, stand by. About 15 seconds, we'll be back. All right, we're back. I'm going to comment on that last caller, who, by the way, he hung up. Okay, and it's one call per show, so you can't call back, but he hung up. But before I do, I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret, where I've lost all this weight. It's amazing to me, and I kept it off without any effort. it's amazing. You know, I was talking to conservative Doug about the paddle baller, and he was talking about, and I told him I don't exercise. Not only did I not exercise today or any day, I can't remember the last time I actually exercised. Not doing something just to exercise. That doesn't mean I don't do anything. I was watering my hedges yesterday that I'm trying to save from the freeze. So I'm holding the hose, so I guess I'm exercising my right arm there, watering. I don't exercise, and I just don't have time for it. To me, exercising is for people that have too much time on their hands. And with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, because I didn't go on some weird diet. I ate foods I normally ate. I didn't exercise, and there's also no pills or injections. But I didn't have any major lifestyle changes, and I lost about 1 pound a day. Now, if I would have exercised, I would have lost the weight a little bit faster, but losing about 1 pound a day without any exercise, that was good enough for me. And I think long term it worked out better for me, because if I had to work out 3 or 4 times a week to keep the weight off, I'd be done. But with Coastal Weight Loss Secret, there were none of those lifestyle changes, so keeping the weight off is easy. Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help you lose weight no matter where you are located. All right, we have listeners from all over the United States who have called Coastal Weight Loss Secret. They're here in South Florida, but no matter where you are, they can help you lose weight. Whether it's 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 150 pounds, 250 pounds, 450 pounds, more or less, anywhere in between, they can help you. Give them a call, 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. Okay, I want to talk about that last caller. And a lot of you are new to the program, and I don't explain this too often, but there's always new listeners that are finding the program, plus these great new radio stations we're on along the Treasure Coast, and people find us all the time, and they don't always know what's going on. This program, we have totally unscreened calls by design. What I mean by unscreened is no one answers the phone. When you call in, you're put on hold. And when you hear me say, what's your name, where are you calling from, that's the first time anybody hears your voice. And we do that very specifically. It didn't start out that way, but we do that very specifically because it makes the show more, for a number of reasons, which I'll tell you real quick. It makes the show more interesting. You know, if you have a call screener, there's a lot of negatives to that. One, the caller gets off their chest most of the time what they want to say on the air to the call screener, the board op. You know, I used to be a board op, and I used to do that on talk shows, answer the phones, and put them on. They get off their chest what they want to say. So by the time they get on the air, they're repeating themselves. So you lose that. Also, when you're screening calls and you have a board up there, you know, when you do this like I've done for so long, you know everything about a caller from no information whatsoever. I could tell by the first syllable, 9 times out of 10, everything about the person. If you have the name and the location on the board, you know, you can tell a lot about a person, you know. And so I like that spontaneity. And I think as a listener, you know, I want the callers to be red hot with whatever they have on their mind, no matter whether they agree or disagree. And I think it makes the show more interesting for listeners because, you know, I don't know what's coming. When Steve's here, Steve will be back soon, by the way. I know he's been off for a few days, a little under the weather at the beginning of the year. Steve will be back soon. I was just texting with him, and whenever Steve takes a few days off, I always tell Steve the same thing. I need a proof of life to the audience. Okay, we need to have you on. Steve will be back, if not tomorrow, next week. Okay, but for listeners, I think it makes the show more interesting because since Steve and I don't know what's coming at us with the calls, anything can happen. You never know where the show's going to go with a caller. And I think as a listener, it makes it more interesting, okay? Now, there are a handful of rules that we have on the program. One of them is, you know, as the host of the show, the host on any show, you have to, you know, decide what the subject matter is and whatnot. We do have open phones on Friday, which is tomorrow, Open Mag and Mike Friday, when you can call in about any and everything on your mind. But we have to keep some order to the discussion, okay? But the main rule is this, other than no profanity and such, because of radio and regulations. But the main rule is you have to take turns to talk. Two people can't talk at the same time. And the reason that is, this is not some conversation in your living room with your loser buddies on a Zoom meeting or something, okay? The way that radio works, if two people are talking at the same time, what you hear over the radio is mud. Nobody can understand it. You have to take turns. And you will hear this with Steve and I. Steve and I will get into some arguments sometimes. We don't overtalk. We take turns. And it's nothing you think about. It's just instinctive. So you can't keep interrupting. And a lot of times people say, oh, you hang up on people because they disagree. No, the number one reason, next to bad language, that I hang up on people is because they won't take turns to talk. And since I'm the host of this show, I get to talk when I want to talk. Okay? I mean, that's how it works. That's all. It's very simple rules. But see, liberals can't handle rules. That's why they're liberals. So even simple rules like that, and it's one call per show, but you can call every day, but it's one call per show. These are very simple rules, and the screenless calls are, if I was on every radio station in the country, I would want to do screenless calls. And as the show has grown when I first started doing screenless calls, I was just starting out. Nobody knew who I was, and I was on the air at 3 a.m. By the way, on Sunday mornings, 3 to 7 a.m. Sunday mornings, Saturday night, Sunday mornings, and I was doing it. It was different as the show's grown over the years. There's been more issues with it, but we've always kept the screenless calls. And so far as to the last caller, when liberals call in, I very much want liberals to call in and have discussions. You have to take turns. These are simple rules. So far as President Trump being anti-war, I explained the situation with Iran. The president has ended at least half a dozen wars. He's ended all the major wars in the world except Russia and Ukraine. And, he's made the most incredible offers and deals to these guys. And, of course, neither of them would take the offer. He's been over backwards with both Putin and Zelensky. And the real villain isn't Putin, it's Zelensky, because he's in the loser position. He will eventually lose to Russia. Russia will wear them down. Russia's a big country, and Ukraine's much smaller than it used to be. And there's no way long-term, unless Europe or the United States got involved, that Ukraine can win that war. Not only did they lose this huge chunk in the east, they lost Crimea when Obama was president. And, and Zelensky's the one that blew the deal. President Trump had the great deal with the mineral deals and everything else when Zelensky came to Washington and they had that Oval Office fight with J.D. Vance and Zelensky and Brian Glenn, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, in the Oval Office. Zelensky signed his country's death warrant then. Someone got him worked up. Who it was, I don't know. But I do know this, I'm living pain-free thanks to Dr. Philip Appleton and his robotic laser. With the robotic laser, there's no injections, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. When I was young, I thought living with pain was a part of just growing older, especially when I had that pain in my hand and Dr. Appleton told me I had arthritis in my finger. I was like, oh, I'm done. He's like, no, Brian, the robotic laser treats arthritis, and boom, I'm arthritis-free. None of the pains he's treated me with have come back, and he's been treating me for pains from injuries to just growing older for over 3.5 years. It works. Appointments are not necessary, and walk-ins are always welcome. Give Dr. Appleton a call. Say bye-bye to your pain and stop living with pain. You don't have to live with pain. Go see Dr. Appleton. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay, if you're on hold, hang in there. Oh, man. Okay, we will be back shortly. All right, we got just over a minute. We'll be back. Yes, just over a minute. We'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to move into a couple of other things, and then we'll go back to the phone. Someone said, coward. If I was a coward, I wouldn't be taking calls. Okay, but I can't hand the show over to some guy from Ohio or Chicago or Georgia. I still got to host the show. Oh my goodness. By the way, everyone who's subscribed to Joe's YouTube channel, thanks. If you haven't, please do. The link's in the description. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Savannah Guthrie kidnapping story when we get back. 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. The 8 o'clock hour has begun. I'm Brian. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. On the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I want to talk a little bit about this Savannah Guthrie mother kidnapping story, which I have been following, and it's got off. I'm going to play some of this video, which I've never seen anything like this in real life, this video. It's like out of a movie. and I'm sure everyone's going to say that, you know, where the family comes out and makes a video plea to the kidnappers. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the video that the senator made in Silence of the Lambs when her daughter was kidnapped. Let me play some of it, then we'll talk about it. This is Savannah Guthrie, of course. See, you know, this, what I'm saying about this, see, this is Savannah Guthrie. I know you guys have seen the video because it's everywhere. But she's with her brother and sister, okay? And her sister, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But when I say that this reminds me of the senator and the Silence of the Lambs, remember her daughter was kidnapped and she went out and did a national thing because she had a national platform because she was a senator. And she was doing all these things to humanize her daughter, knowing that the kidnapper would be watching, and he was. And that it puts the lotion in the basket because he was trying to dehumanize. That's what Savannah Guthrie is doing here, is trying to humanize her mother to the kidnappers who dehumanize people so that they can justify what it is that they've done and may do, right? Kind of like that lady preacher we were talking about in the last hour. Okay, now this is the sister, and this is one of the things I want to talk about with the sister. Ashley Banfield, who is no longer with News Nation, she got replaced on News Nation by Katie Pavlich, who used to be at Fox, and now she's gone out on her own doing true crime on her YouTube channel. And Ashley Banfield is the one who broke the story that the sister and son-in-law were suspects, in particular the son-in-law, who's the sister's husband, obviously, that they impounded the car and all this business. And she went with that story, and Savannah Guthrie is sitting here next to her sister and her brother, not brother-in-law, but her sister and brother. And it seems to me that if Savannah Guthrie thought that her sister or her brother-in-law were involved, she wouldn't be sitting there with the sister, and she certainly wouldn't be talking this way, right? I just, you know, I don't think it, so I'm not too sure about that Ashley Banfield story. We'll find out one way or another in the end, probably, but I'll talk more about that in a bit. So the Savannah Guthrie's sister is talking now. Oh my goodness. I'm about to cry listening to this. See this? I mean, so, you know, things aren't looking good for that Ashley Bansfield story. She said she had a law enforcement source. I don't know. I mean, I've known her for a while. She used to be at MSNBC when they first started, and she's been doing like court TV kind of stuff for the last many years. And I've always followed Ashley Banfield because I've mentioned many times I do follow true crime, you know. I'm watching Savannah Guthrie's sister. She's devastated, the sister. And it would be hard for me to believe that the sister had any role in this, the way that she looks and sounds. And, you know, but if you hear the whole thing, they're always trying to humanize the mom to whoever the abductors are. You know, and Savannah Guthrie's reading a prepared statement, which is a little surprising to me. The sister's reading a prepared statement too, but the sister's not a professional TV person. Savannah Guthrie is. And I usually, when there's been instances like Elizabeth Smart and some of these others, there's family press conferences. I don't remember, and again, maybe I've just forgotten, Natalie Holloway, these things. I don't remember them reading a script. And I'm not attacking them, but please, I'm not going to attack this family. Don't misunderstand me. But this goes back to, like, this is something that was written by some criminal psychiatrist, a criminal psychologist. These are carefully worded statements to the abductors to try to get them to do the right thing, if that's possible at this point. See the mommy? See? Human eyes? Yeah, that's the brother said, "Stay, we love you, Mom." He didn't have a script. I will say this, though, one thing about, she said, you know, he is with you. She means Jesus. That's the second time I've heard Savannah Guthrie say this during this crisis time. She keeps saying he and him. She's, you know, liberals can't say Jesus. You know, he and him. I always, now maybe I'm wrong about this, but I always take that as liberal code words for liberals that don't want to say Jesus. But even in a god-awful tragedy, she, you know, a little liberalism there. But this Ashley Banfield story seems much less likely to me today than it did yesterday, that Savannah Guthrie's sitting there with her sister. If she had any thought that her sister's husband did this, would she be sitting here like this, talking this way? You know, another thing, too, these local cops are a bunch of clowns. You know, the FBI came in, and the first thing I saw from the FBI is that they put up crime scene tape up. The local cops didn't make the house off limits. They gave it back to the family. In fact, I mentioned yesterday that a News Nation reporter, which is where Katie Pavlich is now, a News Nation reporter walked right up to the door and showed the blood on the front porch of the house. And I was a little surprised that they had such access to the crime scene, but the cops let them have it. I've never seen the cops hand over a crime scene so quickly like that. That seems insane to me. And the other thing I find it impossible to believe that There's no cameras anywhere near this house, street cameras, cameras on any of the neighbors' houses. I know they took the camera from the front, whoever the abductor is, ripped the camera off the front of that mother's house, but everybody else on that street has a camera. Well, let's hope for the best. But I've been following this. Your thoughts on this are certainly welcome about, and Ashley Banfield, I'll talk more after the break. But right now, Sloman's Home Security is offering a free home security system with free professional installation and 24/7 central station monitoring. You get all that for just $24.95 a month for 5 years. Your Sloman's Home Security system includes a touchscreen keypad, 3 door or window sensors, a motion detector, notification, and remote keypad access, so you can check in no matter where you are in the world. Give them a call right now, no matter where you're located. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stand by, guys. All right. Okay. Hey there, it's Brian. Hey there, we're about 2 minutes away. I'm going to put you on hold, and when I click back into you, we'll be on the air.
All right.
All right, hold on. Stand by, guys. We'll be back shortly. All right. All right. Just over a minute. We'll be back, guys. Yeah, it's pretty sad. It is. I mean, that's... All right. 1 minute. Yeah, I am getting stuff done. I'm answering DMs and text messages and stuff. A lot goes on back here. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? 30 seconds. All right, we're back, and it's time to check in with Jamie LeeZep over at Swift Tax. Well, here we are. By this time, Jamie, everyone should have received all of their tax forms in the mail or online or wherever they get them. And now's the time to give you a call and get that refund coming.
Hey, Brian. Yes, by this time, almost everyone should have all their tax documents. You may be missing some 1099 interest or dividends.
Yeah.
That may be the only thing that's missing. Other than that, you should have everything. Give me a call. I'm in the office every day and Saturday.
Hell yeah.
I'm in front of my computer. I'm ready to give you a quote. If you have your W-2 and if you can read me line 1 and 2 over the phone, I'd be more than happy to give you some answers in real numbers in real time.
Yeah, you know, I was talking to a listener the other day, and they were telling me they were expecting to have to pay taxes. They met with you. You did their taxes for them. They're getting a refund. They were so excited. You know, it's amazing. You know, if you do your taxes on your own, and by on your own, I mean like TurboTax, those types of things. H&R Block, some guy that does taxes a month or so out of every year. That's crazy. People that use those types of services, Jamie, they're probably, in almost 100% of the cases, paying more taxes than they should be, right?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. Remember, this is what I do 365 days a year. This is my job. This is my passion. This is all I want to do. When you're going to somebody at H&R Block who's getting paid minimum wage to punch in your name into a computer and then leaving for the rest of the year, you're not getting tax expertise. Yes, it is convenient. Yes, it can be convenient to just walk right into your local place or do it on TurboTax, but convenience is not what we're looking for. We're looking for efficiency. We're looking for our maximized refund. And if you want your maximized refund, give me a call. I'm in front of my computer. 9 times out of 10, I could help you while over the phone your first time calling.
Yeah, and you know, and as far as fast, I know a lot of times people want to rush over to these quick things and everything so they can get their tax return right away. Well, with Jamie LeeZep at Swift Tax, you can get your tax return in as little as 24 hours. Okay, guys. So if that's a motivating factor for you, you know, the entire tax code has changed with the big beautiful bill. And Jamie LeeZep at Swift Tax knows the new tax code inside and out, upside down and backwards and everywhere else that you can come at it. And he'll make sure that you get all the deductions that you are entitled to and the maximum return that you are owed. Now, Jamie LeeZep is located here in South Florida, in Broward. And you're more than welcome to meet with Jamie LeeZep in person at his office in Broward. However, no matter where you're located in America, Jamie LeeZep can help you with your taxes. And even if you're local and you can't make it into his office, you can do it over the phone too. But Jamie not only can help you with your federal taxes, he can help you with your payroll taxes, your business taxes, even your state income taxes if you're in a state that has those terrible things that we luckily don't have in Florida. Give Jamie a call. This number rings directly to Jamie LeeZep at Swift Tax, so you can call or text 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587 for Jamie LeeZep at Swift Taxes. All right, Jamie LeeZep, we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Brian. Have a good one.
You too. Take care. Take care. Yeah, this is a busy time for accountants. Give them a call or text. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. How are you today, sir?
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Joe from Florida. How are you today, sir?
All right, Joe from Florida.
Let me ask you a quick question.
I don't know. You sound like Tom from Florida to me.
How do you feel about your radio? How do you feel about your radio show starting to send?
I'm not. Oh, he disconnected himself. He disconnected himself. Did he not? And I'm sorry he got disconnected, because didn't that sound like Tom? You guys remember Tom? Very hostile caller. I'm pretty sure that was Tom. Now, I wouldn't want to be Tom either. But, well, next time. I guess when he heard me mention that, maybe I went in with that too quick and should have let him talk. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I got a couple of other things I want to get to before the bottom of the hour break, and I want to apologize to the audience in advance. I took the last break late, so I'm a little backed up on breaks. This will be a short segment, and then after the bottom of the hour, we're going to be on track for the rest of the show. It's my fault. I took that break late, and I shouldn't have done that. President Trump did an incredible interview with NBC News that aired last night, and I played one clip of it earlier, or maybe two, of him talking about possibly running in 2028. But here he was talking about J.D. Vance running with Marco. Yeah, that's right. I mean, they would definitely be a power duo as a team. Although I wish Marco could be at the top of the ticket. I don't like this idea of a millennial on the top of the ticket and the Gen X guy at the bottom of the ticket. But don't worry, Marco's young enough. He can be the third MAGA president. All right, we'll take this break on time. We'll be right back. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Rich in Coral Springs.
Hey, Rich, hold on a second here. Hold on. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian.
Hold on. Hold on. There was a clip I'm looking for. There it is. There it is. Okay, there's that one. Hold on. Okay, yes. There's the other one. Okay, there's a couple stories I haven't gotten to yet that I want to get to. Yeah, you're welcome to call in. All right. Right, if you're on hold, stand by. Yeah, this is one of my ice shirts, alligator Alcatraz shirts. Yeah, that's a good one. $20 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Richard in Coral Springs.
Hey, Richard. What's up?
Good morning. Yes, I agree with you. You asked earlier if we would, or I would, or if we in the audience would vote for Trump again. I absolutely would. He's been doing nothing but great things. He continues to do great things. There's no way or anything that implies that he's senile or decrepit like Joe Biden had been. Also, we've heard enough of this Epstein, Hitler, and Nazis comment. The only thing that he could do better is maybe stop the fake news media rhetoric and maybe get these people
I
off
tell you
the
what,
air.
I thought I had enough of the Epstein stuff too, but then something came out with the latest release. Whoopi Goldberg's in the Epstein files, and she was trying to get Epstein to loan her his jet. So now that we have the View in the Epstein files, I'm more interested today.
Oh, maybe that'll flip-flop them, and they'll be saying maybe they shouldn't release the files then.
Exactly. I mean, maybe we should talk more about that. All these guys that want me to talk about the Epstein files.
Try not to.
No, you know what I mean.
I've had enough of Epstein. He's a dead guy, like you said. Focus more on the people, the victims, instead of having vigils for these
I'll tell
alleged Latter-day Saints.
Let me just throw this out. The Epstein victims are grown women now, right? They're grown-ups. They know who these people are. At least they know who a lot of them are, right? The people that did things to them.
Absolutely.
Why don't they?
And if it was Trump, they'd be out in the news right now.
Why don't they go file police reports? I remember they got Bill Cosby on like 50-year-old charges, right? Like back in the 70s, he was given Quaaludes, and they put him in prison for 50-year-old allegations. So I would say, I'm not attacking the victims, but I would say the ball's in their court. Between them, they've had to be able to identify at least some of these creeps and go turn them into the cops. Like the Cosby accusers.
And if they had that, and if it was in the Epstein files already, they would have released it, like you said, during the Biden-Penn administration era.
Or go to your local FBI office. Go to your local FBI office and do it there. I mean, if you were flown around the country or to another country, those are federal crimes, and go and tell your local FBI office who these men are that trafficked you and violated you. And, at this point, the files are not trustworthy, but their eyewitness testimony would be something that people would pay attention to. So why aren't they doing that?
Well, like you said, they may be less trustworthy, but they're less trustworthy even because the Biden administration had the possession of them way before Trump got his hands back on them.
And I remember at that press conference a while back, Marjorie Taylor Greene was going to read the names out on the floor of Congress. She didn't do that before she left.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Hey, listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. All right. Take care. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Has our country come to this, Brian?
Yes, it's come to Trump. Yes, it has. It's come to Trump returning for his second term. When I was talking about, see, that was Tom. It's one call per day, Tom. You know the rules. I was right. That was Tom. Now he's trying to call in as yourself next time. All right. As an example of there's so many things that make Trump so different and unique and the greatest president we're ever going to experience in our life. There'll never be another Trump. Every single second of his presidency you want to enjoy and savor and hope time goes by slow, because there'll never be anyone even close. President Trump yesterday did something I've never heard of another president doing. He celebrated the U.S. victory over Mexico and the Mexican-American War. And let me pull up this article. I saw this. It's in Breitbart. I'm like, oh, only Trump would do something like this. And it's something that should be celebrated, our great victory against Mexico. Listen to this. This is in Breitbart. President Donald Trump is marking the 178th anniversary of the Mexican-American War. This week, the White House issued a presidential message marking the anniversary of the Mexican-American War, which saw Mexico cede California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming to the United States. So, by the way, I think this might have been a response to Billie Eilish saying we're on stolen land, when President Trump is pointing out that Mexico gave us all this land at the end of the war. And by the way, they also recognized Texas. That's when we got Texas too. So we got Mexico gave us Texas, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona. Oh, I got to use more fingers. Utah, Nevada, California. So they gave us 7 states. Or is that 8 states? Yeah. Boom. Not stolen land. We got them. And this is the statement from the White House. Today marks the 178th anniversary of our nation's victory in the Mexican-American War, a legendary victory that secured the American Southwest, reasserted American sovereignty, and expanded the promise of American independence across our majestic continent. The president's message read, and it goes on. Only Trump would celebrate our victory against Mexico. But it was not just sticking it to people. It was what he did, and the reason he did this was to educate people. You know, I was talking yesterday, Billie Eilish has the mind of I would say a chipmunk, but chipmunks are pretty smart, right? They know how to gather, and they're nuts and all that stuff. She has the mind of a tulip, which has no mind. She's a very stupid person. And what Billie Eilish was doing wasn't making a political point. It wasn't even virtue signaling. It was to sell downloads of her music. I mean, think about it. How many of you in this listening audience this week pulled up a Billie Eilish song on Spotify or something just to hear it, to see who she is? Yeah. You put money in her pocket. You know, people don't go to record stores anymore, but they download music. You know, Billie Eilish has made millions of dollars this week making that statement. And President Trump is celebrating the American victory in the Mexican-American War to highlight that the entire American Southwest was given to us at the end of that war by Mexico. We should have kept Mexico, by the way. We had our army in Mexico City. We could have kept it. And it'd be first world, not third world, at least in the part of Mexico we conquered in that war. But he wanted people to know in this country, they don't teach about this in school anymore. He wanted them to know that, no, this is not stolen land, that we fought a war with Mexico. Mexico lost, and they gave us all this land. That is the Southwest United States. That it is not stolen, courtesy of Billie Eilish and her stupidity and record sale attempts, which I'm sure was successful. I haven't pulled up any Billie Eilish music myself. I just haven't felt the need. I'm not interested, in Billie Eilish. She looks like a homeless person, doesn't she? She looks like some club girl that's been at the club past 5 a.m. like 3 days in a row. And she looks like she needed to bathe, tell you the truth, when I saw her at the awards the other night. But that's what that was all about. And President Trump did a good thing educating people as to what's going on here. All right, let me see. What time is it and what do I got left to do? Okay, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name?
Brian.
Tom, you call again, you're gone. You called 3 times.
I've always been gone, Brian. You haven't picked up the phone for me.
Oh, my goodness. All right, let me pretend I wasn't talking to you earlier. What's on your mind, Tom?
Not too much, buddy. I just find it funny that you've been censoring me, and I think you do
You're
that
on
to
the
basically
you're
all
on
your
the
callers
line.
now.
You're on the line, man.
I know I'm on the line. So I don't understand. I think you've been doing this, and I think you got.
What have I
station
been
callers,
doing?
And you
What
say-
have I been doing?
It is hilarious that I think that you are the one who
What?
has
Tell me
people
what I've
calling
been
on
doing.
a regular basis. I think that you're all the people who used to call the show, they don't call it anymore. You know why? Because you take the narrative, you block their calls. They don't
You're
think
not
about calling
blocked.
from another number.
Listen,
and you censor
listen,
people.
Tom, you're not
just
censored.
like this country's doing.
Excuse me. You are not censored. You're on the air. You were the first person that called claiming to have a different name because you mentioned censoring. Okay? You've called 3 times. I've known it's you all 3 times. Even before I picked up this line, I knew it was you because you called 2 previous times in the last 20 minutes.
So
You're not banned.
So now, instead of me looking like a crazy person, and you are the one who just started censoring people by blocking all your normal callers.
You are not blocked. I could count on one hand how many people are banned from this show. Okay, to get banned from this show, there's one guy who made a sexual comment about Steve's.
You had this ready to go, huh?
There's one guy who made a sexual comment about Steve's wife and his kids. Okay, there's someone who threatened my life.
Right. First of all,
okay. There's another person who used profanity.
This is not a bit, Brian. This is not a bit.
Excuse me, I'm speaking.
Okay?
I'm speaking.
This country is going down the toilet.
No.
Hey,
this call's going down the
toilet.
toilet.
Brian,
Maybe
you are censoring your show. That's what you're doing.
What do you mean censoring?
Okay.
What, I'm supposed to let people call
Brian,
in that
it's
threaten my
hilarious.
life?
Listen to you. Your voice is getting higher than a female.
How am
you
I
are censoring people, Brian?
What do you
Your
know
show
about how
is
women
censoring-
speak?
And you didn't pick up the phone until you had your bit ready to go. Oh well,
What bit?
Brian,
you're on.
You are censoring your callers.
You're on the air.
Okay, I know, because look at what I had to do to get on the air.
What did you
Brian.
have to do?
Okay.
What did you have to do?
Come on, man. Come on, stop. Come
You know,
on.
I'll tell you. Slow down, Tom, because
You know?
I had this. Excuse me, I'm speaking. You know,
I know you are. I'll let
what's
you speak.
going on with Tom here is a very strange thing.
No, Brian, you're not going to use me like that, Brian.
I'm going to
No.
hang up on you if you don't stop talking. And
Bri-
by the
Brian,
way,
I'm
if
just
you
letting
call,
hey,
if you
all
call
the
again,
Steve Kane listeners, everybody, you
all
are
right,
censoring.
you are off the air because you won't stop talking, and it's 1 call per day. And I knew it was you the other 2 times. Okay, my goodness, do you hear what he's done? He has hallucinated that there is some interaction going on between him and me that does not exist. And he's not the first listener that I've had this problem with. There was a guy, I'm not going to mention his name or what this was because I don't want to inject him back into my life. But when I would talk about certain topics, he thought I was talking directly to him. And it was crazy. And it was a little scary. And I was talking with Steve Kane about it. And this is what Steve told me. He says, when you have someone in the audience who thinks when you're talking on the radio and you're talking directly to them and not the audience, he says you've reached the final level of a broadcaster when people listening think you're talking directly to them. I disagree with Steve on that. I think I have paranoid lunatics on the left out there like Tom. Tom, there is no interaction going on between you and me except when you call me on the air. You're obviously not banned, although you're trying to get banned because you keep calling over and over, or you wouldn't have been on the air. I knew it was you that time. I knew it was you the time before. Okay? You already called once, and I knew it was you all 3 times. Okay? You are not banned. However, it is 1 call per day. You called in 3 times today. You will be on the naughty list if you do it again today. Okay? I got to tell you, we do have to have some rules and regulations. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret, which is amazing. You know, have you guys went and looked at Kelly Osbourne? I've been telling you guys, look at Kelly Osbourne this week. I don't know if she's taken pills. I don't know if she's taken shots, but she does not look well. She's on one of those weird things. Coastal Weight Loss Secret is natural. There's no pills. There's no shots, no injections. It's all natural, and that's why I look great. You know, and I tell you, I look at the, you know, like the way that I looked a year ago compared to now, and I don't like looking at it because it is embarrassing. My face was round. You know, you gain weight so slowly when you see yourself every day, you don't notice it. People that see it from time to time do, but you don't notice it because it happens so slowly. Man, did I lose a lot of weight. I got my jaw structure back. I got my chin back. I got my neck back. My stomach is flat. I've lost inches and inches off my waist. I don't even know how much, but I lost many inches, and I look great. And you guys who watch me on YouTube, you know I'm right here. I look great, don't I? And you can tell how much weight I've lost compared to what I weighed just over 1 year ago. Give Coast a Weight Loss Secret a call. You can do it too, no matter how much or how little. If you want to lose 25 pounds like I wanted to lose, and I ended up losing over 35 pounds, or you want to lose 425 pounds, more or less, anywhere in between, Coastal Weight Loss Secret can help. Give them a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlossecret.com. We'll be right back. Stand by, guys. We'll be back shortly. Hey there, it's Brian. We have just under a minute.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep you on the line. I'll keep it open, so less than a minute.
Okay.
It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking?
Metal's looking a little weak so far. The markets yesterday tried to rally back, gold getting up to a high of $5,093 and then getting sold down to close up only $18 on the day at $4,963.80. Silver gained $3.04 yesterday, closing at $88.07. Platinum was up $23 at $2,239. And palladium closed out the day up $14 at $17.43. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of on the low $47.91 up to $5,025. And right now, gold at $4,830. That's down $133.60. Silver down $11.95 at $76.15. Platinum down $195 at $2,043, and palladium down $51 at $1,692. So where is the support? The support for silver right now is around $70 an ounce. Gold around $4,600, and platinum around $2,000. So those are levels we're getting close to. So we bounced off those numbers already once. And certainly an opportunity in these ranges now. So take advantage of the dip. That's what we keep telling.
Yeah, what I always tell you, the metals are on sale. This is awesome. And, you know, at these numbers today, we're at numbers and all the metals that are so high. I thought I would be an old man in a retirement home before we saw these kind of numbers that we're at on days like today. It's amazing to me. Gives me goosebumps. Give William Youngman a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. You can do your transactions over the phone and through the mail no matter where you're located on the planet. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Or stop in if you can. His shop in Boca is at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway, on the south side of Palmetto Park Road, on the first floor of the Bank of America building. All right, William Youngman, we're going to finish out the week tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day. Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, I'm going to go back to the phones. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
Hey, not everybody that calls in the show is a seminar caller. Some of these people, Brian, are just naturally stupid.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about Tom. I'm talking about Mr. Mensa, I guess, from early in the show about the 70 U.S. citizens being deported.
Oh, my goodness.
I just, when something like that happens, I have to go look. And so I did the deep dive. I took the 5 seconds and looked at it. And it says they did do the study. The GAO did do a study, and Trump's from 2015 to 21, whatever. Trump's first term, and they did in the study say that 70. Wait for this word. Potential U.S. citizens were deported.
Potential.
Now,
I don't know what that,
in other words, they weren't U.S. citizens.
I wish Steve was here today, because Steve Kane went to the same high school as President Kennedy, Riverdale Country School.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Chevy Chase also went there, by the way. And Steve has a vocabulary like William Shakespeare. So he understands words in ways that maybe I don't. I just went to Stranahan High School in Fort Lauderdale, where our math department was very good because we had so many crack dealers in the student body. They knew they could do all the measurements in their head. But, but the rest of us were just trying to stay alive, and they were really good with the metric system, because I guess crack, you sold it in the metrics. But anyway, potential. Does that mean that they could be U.S. citizens at some point? Like they're illegals, but could be made. They could be made legal. What does
Brian,
potentially mean in that text?
Potential means every single person in the world.
Is
there's a potential for anybody to become a U.S. citizen.
Kim Jong-un could become a U.S. citizen, potentially.
Exactly. Anybody has the potential to be, but that guy was just so...
Oh, my goodness.
God, he was down the rabbit hole so far. When I heard that...
what happens with listen, how do you prepare to do a show like this, And I do spend 2 to 3 hours every morning going through the news, but it's life. Life is what preps you to do a show. And what happens with a lot of these callers, like Mr. Mensa you're talking about, they read an article or a Wikipedia page, or they see some TikTok video somewhere. They think they know something. Do you think I just go on the air and just say crap? You know what I mean? And they always cite your source. I don't walk around with a filing cabinet where I can just, it's called being well-read, being informed, and living life. These guys, they don't.
Life.
Yes.
That's
life.
your source, Brian. Life is my source.
Exactly.
Life.
And
U.S. citizens don't get deported. If there were, listen, I was going to say, if there were 70 U.S. citizens deported, I'll show you 70 multi-millionaires.
Man,
that's just never going to happen. It's not going to happen.
It's what I said to the guy, right? If 70 U.S. citizens had been deported, at least a dozen of them would be traveling to every ICE they'd have different cells. Some of them would be in Minneapolis taking on ICE. Some of them would be in LA taking on ICE. You understand what I mean? They would be on TV all the time, and they would call them the deported 12 or the deported 70. They'd have some number connected with a name, the wrongly deported 70, or something. They'd have some name for them.
Farrakhan, Jesse Jackson, and some other. There'd be some,
are those
Waters
guys still
would
alive?
be there, Pelosi would be there. They'd all be sitting there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just crazy.
You wouldn't have to look it up. You would just know, because they'd be all over the news.
Yeah. Well, Listen, I just, you know, you're talking about Thune earlier today.
Oh.
Talk about crazy. I mean, Thune, to me, I mean, listen, everybody, it's hard. Here's the thing with Trump. Trump is so good, and all the people that he's hired are so good. It's hard not to sort of be a visionary, somewhat dream. Think, I mean, because we're winning so much, so many good things are happening. It's hard not to think that, you know, they would pass that, but the reality
well, listen, I'm really
is
short. I'm really short on
patch.
time. I'm really short on time because we're up against the end of the show.
Yeah, I got you.
And I got to do a spot still. But I want to say this. You know, when I talk about Trump in 2028, see, one of the things that Trump has that no one else has ever had that's come to the presidency, the only person that has anything close to this is the great Scott Bessent, our openly gay Treasury Secretary. Trump is so rich, he doesn't care. And he can take on anyone. Someone like Thune is convinced, well, you know what, I could be president in 10, 12 years. So why don't I play ball with these jerks so they'll back me when I'm so I can be president in 12 years. You know, Scott Bessent filleted those Democrats in that hearing. Did you see it?
Yes.
The one guy.
Yes, he's I love watching
because he's
so good.
Let me tell you, you don't want to get into an argument with a gay guy. They're very good. And he is so good. You know, like the one guy, the one congressman dropped the F word to Scott Bessent. He says, oh, yeah, you went to lobby Chavez back in 2000, whatever. And he says, you're probably going to go visit your friend Maduro in the Brooklyn jail. And then the guy said, shut the F up. He says, in the hearing, I was like, what? Yeah. And that was only one.
Bessent is good.
Because Bessent,
he's good because he's very intelligent as well, right? He's got a very good memory. Very good memory.
He's very smart, but he's so rich and so financially independent. Like President Trump, he doesn't need anybody in the future, and he can tell everybody off and take on anyone.
It the way it is.
Yes,
the way it is.
It's a freedom. They're both great men who are complete. I would vote for Scott Bessent to be president any day of the week after that. Yesterday, he's the one that gave Elon the black eye. You know, and remember they got into the fight. You know, so we're never going to have. I love Marco Rubio. Okay. But
Me too. I love him.
But he'll never be as independent as Trump. He'll never be. No one will ever be able to stand up like Trump or Bessent did yesterday. And Thune is just trying to be. J.D. Vance told Megyn Kelly every member of the Senate thinks they can be president. Thune is made deals for a presidential exploratory committee, and that's
stuck in the rhino. John Thune is stuck in the rhino patch. There's so many. There's a lot of rhinos. It's easy for us to forget. There are so many.
Listen, I got to run. I'm all out of time, but I do want to tell everyone that about Life Imaging FLA, and you know, Life Imaging FLA has been life changing for me because they gave me peace of mind. And this month is American Heart and National Cancer Prevention Month. Life Imaging FLA is all about preemptive health care. You've heard the listeners in this audience who found out that they've had blockage, that they've had tumors, that they've had heart issues that they had no idea they had, okay? Not only did they have no idea they had them, they had no symptoms. Call Life Imaging FLA, okay, for your free heart scan right now with a few minimum requirements, valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan and you'll be connected in seconds. All right, guys, that's all the time we have for today. Tomorrow is Friday. It is Open Phones. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, you can call in about any and everything on your mind, not just the topics we bring up. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. I'm Brian Craig. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump. All right, we're clear. Hey, listen, guys, if you're new, please make sure you subscribe and like the video if you don't mind. And all of you that subscribe to Joe Thomas's YouTube channel, thanks, guys. Jupiter Joe Money Show on YouTube. If you've not already done it, please subscribe. The link's in the description of the video. I'll appreciate it. Joe will. He was on the show with me Monday, and He was talking about his YouTube channel. If you guys could subscribe to Jupiter Joe's YouTube channel, that would be awesome. The link is in the description. All right, I put it there for you guys so you can easily find it. All right, take care. Thanks for watching. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll talk to you next time.